complaining, gotta let them know I'm famous in my heart. Listen here, I'm here for the world to hear, and I'ma make sure they know what my name is. I just wanna end up famous in
I'm
their
so serious,
heart.
probably why they be so damn curious, they furious. Easy got these ladies on some silly shit. Now what the dilly is, I'm going all out. Hey, I'm the talk of the town, why y'all just saw a mouth? Here's a story about my quest to be rich. I'm like Beyonce and Kelly on some Destiny shit. Mr. 6 Mile, look me up, I'm somewhat a dream. Got my city like an addict, guess it's somewhat a fiend. For my team, anything less is uncivilized. Surprise, I'm seeing this world through clear eyes. And haters only make me more inspired to bless. On the clock right now, what the hell is the next? Like that feeling in your chest when you're ready to leave. Like that memory you had, you just couldn't believe. And we always got a little ammunition for y'all, cause we remember when they wouldn't even listen at all.
Listen here, I can't go another year. No, I can't be up in here complaining. Gotta let them know I'm famous in my heart. Listen here, I'm here for the world to hear, and I'ma make sure they know what my name is. Just wanna end up famous in there.
In 97 on Gunston and 6 Measy, the streets made a natural born hustler. Believe me, drop real with it. That was my first EP. Grind harder than granted, but made it look easy. Take it to the top, that was the plan. Now I'm known worldwide, from Detroit to Japan. 14 years span, fuck hot nigga, I'm scorching. I done got the fame.
And welcome everybody to another episode of the Jackson Report. We're coming to you live today. We got a few things to talk about. And I wouldn't be able to talk about them if I didn't have a special guest with me. Y'all seen him a couple times before. When I talk politics and I want to get in depth with it, I got to have my brother BG on the show. What's up with you, BG?
Hey, how you doing, brother?
Hey, I knew you've been chomping at the bit because we've been back and forth in the inbox. Of course, I missed a couple of the texts. I know I was driving you freaking crazy, but we here now. Like, my thing is,
we've had a lot going on.
Yeah, you know, we're gonna try to touch on as many of the things that me and you talked about and give it to him, because you know we talked about how crazy the whole storming the Capitol was, but that's so worn out, bro. Like, that's so drawn over. I'm thinking about, what did you look at? How was you looking at yesterday from an outside standpoint?
You mean just you mean King Day in general, or
yeah,
which aspect?
Just the whole King Day in lieu of all the craziness going on.
Well, it happens at what's probably an appropriate period of time, because we're already dealing with the winter of discontent that they talked about in that David Dayen talked about in that article in the Prospect, talking about the transition.
Exactly.
And remember that people had to fight for MLK Day. That wasn't something that just happened like magic after MLK's death. That was something that it took a lot of political pushing for us to get. And his legacy is effectively spat on by the people who are in power now. And a lot of people at that Capitol riot engaged in a lot of the same whitewashing of King's history that we've seen historically since his passing. Some of those people think they walked in the same shoes King did. Like, no, you didn't. If this was 60 years ago, you would have been throwing rocks at little girls when they're trying to integrate the schools. You would have been right along the line fighting against them.
Exactly.
No.
And now the thing of it with me is, I get to film today on a very unique day, because yesterday we filmed a special on MLK Day, and it was pretty cool. If you on my page and you film and you looking at this stream, check out the one before it, because I was a guest on my producer show yesterday, and we had a live show. Did the coffee mug though? That was a nice touch. I like the coffee mug out the blue.
Hey, we're trying to keep it classy around here. Trying to keep it grown.
Hey,
Eventually we gonna get some. Eventually I'm gonna get a Revolutionary Underground mug, and it's gonna be in every shot.
yeah, and you need to have that Jackson Report coffee mug going on over there.
Oh, you already know. You got to get those international shipping orders out here. I know
Hey,
there's not that many of them.
hey, yeah, and for everybody that's checking us out on my personal page, go over to the Jackson Report page so your comments can come up on screen and we could holler at you. I could let BG know if you hollering at him and we can chop it up like we do every week. Cause this week, man, bro,
Other than that, we can't respond.
exactly. It's been so crazy because I figured like today, I'm like, dang, I get to film a day after MLK Day and right before the craziness. Like it's over 20,000 troops in Washington D.C., dude. You would think that we got like war on our own soil. It's more troops in Washington than in Afghanistan and Iraq, bro. Like that's crazy to me,
Washington looks like a scene from Demolition Man right now. They have
man.
completely cleared out the streets. They are not playing games. And if it weren't for, at this point, the government has to function on its real capacity, not just on anything that people perceive them to be able to do. We've seen exactly how quickly and efficiently they cleared those streets. So
Man.
this transition is going to happen,
Oh yeah,
and
you knew
then
it
it
was gonna
just
happen
comes
because
what comes next.
everybody is everybody that was once coattail riding Trump now is like being Benedict Arnold. Now everybody don't want nothing to do with it. Like they washing their hands of him because they know the run is over.
The rats are fleeing the sinking ship, and
That's
they
how,
think they can make it to shore. I say we let them all drown.
man.
None
Look,
of these people should be rehabilitated. We have to remind people.
yeah, yeah, and I think, bro, your live feed done froze up over there. You know, Bangkok, y'all got that bad internet going on over there.
It's all right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, my pod, it's official now. We got the froze up internets. That's how it go when you trying to Skype overseas on international calls. I guess you ain't a star until your guest done froze up on your show.
All right, we'll come back to Brad.
We'll come back to BG.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all. Today, I figured I was gonna come up here and get to kicking it with y'all because I can't be the only one that's like sitting back feeling anxious because what is going to happen tomorrow in front of a national audience? It's over 20,000 troops in the nation's capital right now. That's more troops than we got deployed overseas right now. All for one day. For one day. Like I was saying yesterday, we was talking about it, me and my producer, we was kicking it about it. And I said, what if, and it's just my humble little spiel on it. What if all of the stuff that was happening is the overlay for the underplay?
All right, we got Brad back.
We got BG back. Oh, we got you. We got you back, BG.
Hey man, we running this thing on a shoestring, man. It's underground. We keep it gully. It's an outlaw show.
Hey, it just was some gutter stuff. That was just some gully. That was some gully shit, bro. Yo,
Just wait. We gonna put more money into the show. Eventually, we gonna have real internet. We ain't gonna be running it on two cans and a string.
hey. You over You can't be splicing wires from your neighbor's apartment and thinking it's gonna uphold the kids in
I'm
the
over here rubbing two stones together for heat, like.
the kids across the hall trying to watch anime, messing with your dang on internet.
I was about to say, those hentai streams take too much bandwidth.
Dude. But no, bro, it's like, am I the only one? I know we've been talking about it. So tomorrow, it's over 20,000 troops, bro. Like, what could possibly go wrong? And I shouldn't even say that. I shouldn't even speak it in the atmosphere. But you got 20,000. The inauguration is more protected right now, that one area of the country, than the whole rest of the country is. Right? But here's something for you to think about, bro. Just imagine with me for a second. Play with me for a second. Just stroll with me. Dig this. Let's just say, well, how the Capitol was set up. Man, it's over 20,000 National Guard troops. And that's crazy. That's crazy. But see, here go my thing. They didn't bring the A team in. They got the B team in with the National Guard. So I don't know about that. That's the B squad, bro. You know, the National Guard, not to take nothing away from the National Guard. But you know, that's kind of like the B squad. Like he got
B squad. You saw the fascists just sent the D and F squad.
Man,
like,
look.
I would like to think the National Guard can handle a bunch of these folks.
Yeah, honestly,
normal, everyday, overweight Americans running out there.
But look, honestly, not to take nothing away from the National Guard, because I know a lot of people that's in the National Guard, and the people I know that's in the National Guard probably shouldn't be on the B squad. They chose to be, so it's like that.
About to say, National Guard gets to stay here.
Yeah,
I was about to say they don't have to go over to Afghanistan and fight over resources that they'll never control their own.
Exactly, smart. But no, the thing of it is here's the thing. How I look at it, tomorrow, I was saying it yesterday. Just imagine with me for a second. The whole Capitol thing, right? The more and more they get to looking into it and investigating, it's starting to look more so like they didn't storm the Capitol, but they just walked into it.
Well, we know the police let them in. We know that there's allegations of Republican politicians touring them around the Capitol. This looks more like that word that people don't want you to say. Coup. It was an attempted coup.
It was
in favor of the status quo. So it wasn't even a coup or a revolution. It was a
staged event.
White angry backlash against the country moving away from what they want and have always been privileged enough to receive.
Right on. And Danny, that's Danny, ain't it, Chuck?
Christina Electrica.
Oh, and Christina, I'm aware of that. I'm aware that the military can't really do nothing on domestic soil unless it's war. But it wasn't war when BLM was protesting and they was out there and Trump was deploying them everywhere. So why can't they get deployed to protect the incoming president is my thing. That's
the power of the executive branch.
And see, you know, look, we got to keep it a little. Hey, I got to match your ghetto-ness over here, bro. You know, your internet tripping. I'm over here eating chicken nuggets on air. So we both.
Oh, all right, we keeping it gully then. I love it.
This the Gully show today, y'all. Like, it's Gully. I'm sitting in front of one of my sponsors, called Tequila. It's Austin based, as y'all can see. We got it up over Austin. We sitting in front of Austin. It's an Austin based tequila company. It's coming soon. Be looking for it. April this year should be the launch date. It's going down.
Okay. I was about to say, we need some of that over here.
Oh, don't worry about it. When we get it ready, I'm going to be shipping some over there. I don't know if it's going to get through customs, but you know.
Things don't get through customs. That's not a thing. I've seen people wait on spaghetti sauce for 3 months in customs.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Spaghetti sauce is contraband, brother. spaghetti sauce is contraband.
Well,
But
tequila gonna be contraband. You know it's that you got to add the on it with it. It's gonna be contraband. They probably come knocking on your door.
But I did want to circle back to one or two things.
What's that?
Because when we're talking about what happened in the Capitol, we've seen periods like this in American history before. We've seen conservatives specifically decide that they wanted to attack a duly elected government because they didn't get their way. It's literally what happened when Lincoln was elected.
Yeah.
You saw a bunch of Southern conservative slaveholders break off from the country and decide to attack.
First of all,
that they could have
do you have
their
any
own
more
country.
information on
True.
why these 12 National Guard members were removed leading up?
down. I mean, this isn't a rebellion of poor, under-oppressed people who are striving for autonomy and rights.
Right
These are
on.
a bunch of overpriced people attempting to protect their class interest and the status quo. There's
For
nothing
sure.
different about what they're doing.
And we got. Listen, I got my brother in arms. I got one of my business partners. When I be saying we the power strip, bro, he in the comments, the man in behind the tequila, the umbrella we all under, JMF, my man Jared Michael and family, he in the comments, what's up with you, bro? Much love to you. Dude, see, this what I made the show all about. So I can chop it up with my peoples. Me and you, we can have our political conversations like we be having, bro. You know how we go in depth. And then sometimes even get to pushing furniture about the stupidity that goes on with these political events. Like, here's just my thing. And I said it yesterday, and I feel like the people need to see it from this aspect. The fact that they was let into the Capitol 24 hours after they were given a tour of the Capitol to see exactly where they needed to go, right? On top of the fact, you had a lot of those people saying, oh, I'm only here because I got a memo from the president saying to be here. Donald Trump is a lot of things, but just damn stupid, I can't see that. I can't see him sending out a memo to tell people to storm the Capitol, knowing that if they got caught, they would sing like Whitney Houston. So I'm looking at it like this, bro. Who's to say that he's not being the patsy in all of this? He's not being set up to be the downfall for something that's coming. And that is the only reason why I said I'm sitting in anticipation to see how tomorrow is going to play out. Because if anything goes awry tomorrow, it's an automatic finger pointed at this man because of how he been acting about this election. And
I mean, if you till a bunch of soil and plant a bunch of corn seeds and then water a cornfield for several years, you're responsible if it turns out there's fucking corn there.
But here's the thing, bro. Here's the thing. When he gave that speech, and he said he was trying to tone everybody down. He like, this not what we about. Notice it went up on Twitter and none of the networks aired it. And then they banned him off all the social media immediately after that. So this is just me being the devil's advocate to my own self because I'm not a Trump supporter. Like the man to me, goodbye, good riddance. But on the same note, being in the position that I am in now, I can't play one side of the table. I have to see it from both sides of the table. So the thing of it is like this. We knew what we was getting when they voted him in. He's not a politician. He's a businessman whose businesses has failed time and time again, right? But
yeah,
the one thing I will give that man credit for, he exposed the entire U.S. government for what the government really is. A corrupt force that is only about themselves and business. The only thing, the lesser of the two evils, the Dems, pacify the public. Because if you think about it, he made a point with the whole thing of y'all only want to give these people $600 of their own money, right? But y'all want me to sign an order to give y'all $1.4 trillion of these people's money so y'all can have $80,000 furniture limits and $1,000 lunches a day, and we send billions of dollars to Israel, but we won't give the American people whose money it really is anyway $2,000. Come on, man.
First of all, that's not even the critique he made in the first place.
But
this man was in position to push for that if he wanted it before that bill came across.
Yeah, but on the same note,
in the game, and he wasn't interested.
But on the same note,
I want to make sure that we push back against the idea that he could potentially be a patsy here. This man, at a speech within less than a mile of the Capitol, told these people that if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore, and pointed them towards the Capitol building. I'm tired of everyone in the Republican Party, and even people who aren't in the Republican Party, treating this man as if he has no agency in anything. He's never responsible for anything. If you till the soil, if you plant the soil, if you water the soil, you're the farmer and you're responsible for the crop. These people and these circumstances already existed, but he fomented it, he made it worse. We have not seen a situation like this in our lifetimes because we did not have a president like this. The fish rots from the head.
Because the simple fact of it is this, and don't get me wrong, I'm not advocating for this man, but what people forget is right before he was the president, Trump was donating to the NAACP. He was being seen with rappers. He was constantly around black people. My thing is, the more and more I get to looking at this and how this man's presidency went, it just seemed to me like near the tail end of it. The reason I'm saying that is because all of these Republicans that coattail rode this man the whole past 4 years, Trump could do no wrong to the Republican Party. Now all of a sudden, now that the run is over and we got a new administration coming in, now everybody want to throw that man under the bus. So it only makes sense to me that in all of these years, now think about it, Trump didn't just become Trump. He didn't just become Trump during this election. He been Trump the whole 4 years he was in there.
For a very long time.
Why have they never stormed the Capitol before? Because there's been plenty of opportunities for them to do some stuff like that. Them Trump supporters, if that's really who it was. And the fact that a lot of them was cops and all of that kind of stuff, who's to say that, like we've been talking about it a lot between me and my producer, and he done spoke on it on his show, and I done spoke on it a little bit on my show. But there is a certain organization, a certain movement within the FBI called COINTELPRO. And they knew weeks ahead of time that it was a war waged on the Capitol. So why wasn't nothing done then? Because the day it happened, the FBI didn't wait for a directive to come and send people out to send SWAT to the Capitol. Neither did Maryland, I believe Maryland or Virginia, neither did they wait to get deployed. They sent their troops out. So why was it such a delay in the effort to protect the Capitol on that day? But they could have 20,000 troops at the Capitol just standing by on weeks on end, so won't nothing happen on election day. All it is to me, and it's just me, my humble opinion is all it is, what is the bigger picture behind all of this? Because at the end of the day, you can't look at it and just say, oh, this was him the whole 4 years. If he wanted to incite riots like that, don't get me wrong, the man he has a weird ass point of view when it comes to the country. But why now? Why now? Even the fact of him losing and all of that stuff, why now is it just a rise in the violent behavior, and everybody keep predicting. All these news outlets keep, well, watch out for this. We need to watch out for that, and we need to watch this. Why they wasn't saying that the whole 4 years? Because a lot of this same stuff was happening.
You're asking why when we already know why. We've seen what's been fomented since the election. You've seen Republicans nationwide speaking about the illegitimacy of the election. They've been parroting his talking point. And when you ask why Republicans have never spoke up against now, it's very simple. Is look at the Republican Party. It's an authoritarian party, and they follow whatever the leader says.
Okay.
They've had a dear leader mentality this entire time, and he's the person at the head of the table. If it wasn't him, it would be Mitt Romney or it would be somebody else, but they would all follow the leader. And when we talked about how Trump was always seen around black people, keep in mind that all of those black people you mentioned have one thing in common. All of those black people are wealthy and famous.
Yeah,
if
but
you're wealthy and famous, Donald Trump has no problem with you typically.
But
Keep
the
in mind,
NAACP,
he darn sure didn't want those black people living in his housing developments back in the day. That's how he feels about the average black person.
And
I don't care how you feel about Kanye West when you hate 10 million people who look like him.
Okay, I mean, and that's a fair point of view. But my thing is this. At the end of the day, the man's not a politician. He was a businessman, reality show star. He happened to win the presidency.
You don't get to lean on not being a politician.
Oh, yes, you do. Because at the end of the day, this is how I feel about it. We need somebody that's not a politician to be in the White House.
By definition, the moment you start running for office, at that point, you're a politician. You don't get to say, I'm not a politician, after you've held the highest office in the land for 4 years and campaigned for it again for an entire 4 years.
Right. That's still Christina.
Years before that. You're
Trisha
actively
Andre.
doing politics.
Oh, yeah. What'd she say? Hold up 1 second, Brad. She said what, Chuck?
All right. There will never be any repercussions for his actions. That's why he does what he does. I will say, though, people's true colors have been truly shown in how they feel about race. Nothing new to black people, but the outside world really can see the divide now. It's not a made-up thing.
And guess what? What up, Danny? I see you, doggy. It's the reality of it is I know that was my bro Jared. I knew that was Jared. He on Patricia page. That was Jared. He right. Because at the end of the day, I kept saying this. The one thing that he did do, and maybe it was a method to his madness, but what he did do was bring to light that there's still a great divide in America that everybody had kind of brushed under the rug because, oh, no, there's no such thing. You people use that as an excuse. He brought it back to the light. And now it's just escalated to me. It's spiraled out of control to where now it's like you can't put a lid back on that bottle you open. Like you open Pandora's box and now it's just running wild. Even without you at the helm, it's like even without you at the helm now, the car driving itself. This dude done created a Tesla. It's in self-drive mode now. We don't need you driving the car no more. Like we got this from here on. And that ultimately is what I think a lot of them politicians didn't like. It's like, dude, we kept the wool over their eyes for a couple decades now. We was getting them to finally believe that stuff was changing, and you just brought it right back to the forefront that nothing in America has changed. It's still two Americas, like Louis Farrakhan said at the Million Man March. It's still two Americas.
I remember that day.
It's still two Americas. It really is.
I mean, he stripped the mask away, and he gave people who had ideas that should be consigned to the dustbin of history an opportunity to spout their nonsense in public and gain some sort of social acceptance. We need to push these fervent racists back into the back to the boundaries of society and make it so that crap isn't acceptable.
And that's true. Like, that's true. Like, but on the same note, on another note, I did say I was gonna have to acknowledge something. Like, it's tripped out because I have to always be impartial. I have to speak from a standpoint of the thing that make this fun for me is I'm not a journalist. I'm not in the media. So I'm going to speak my truths. I'm not going to speak no script. My producer don't be like, hey, your show better be this way. You better talk about this. You got to say it like that. There's no agendas in false media. The only agenda is to inform the people as much as we can. So my thing is this. When it comes to MLK, and I was looking at it yesterday, normally on MLK Day, unless I just was so out the loop yesterday, normally on MLK Day, that's all I see all over the social media. I see speeches, I see videos, I see all kind of memes. Yesterday, I saw very few. So my thing is, this craziness that's about to go on tomorrow maybe has overshadowed. It's like the country, they done focused so hard on this election, this incoming administration, the outgoing administration, so much that the coronavirus is spiking. MLK Day, which is normally, heck, we only get a couple of the days out the year as a people. What we get? We get MLK Day, and down here in Texas, we get Juneteenth. And then they give us the shortest month of the year for Black History Month. But on top of that, yesterday, I just feel like out of all of the years that MLK Day has rolled around, this year, it wasn't a big enough fuss made about it for me. It wasn't. I didn't turn on the TV like it used to be. I remember growing up, MLK Day rolled around. You turn on the TV, all you see is, I have a dream. Believe I might not make it there with you. I seen that all day. But yesterday, I saw a few people here and there. So it made me start thinking about what has the world gone to? How would Dr. King look at the world and the day and how society is today? What would his viewpoint be? Because
I think he'd be very proud of what Black voters accomplished in Georgia. He was always a huge fan of voter mobilization.
Mm-hmm.
He would see a large protest movement developing in Black Lives Matter and all other like the Sunrise Movement, left movements. He was pro labor. He'd be proud of that. He would see the same people are anti-war, and he was always an anti-imperialist.
You know what I think? I think he'd be very proud of?
People fighting back. He was pro-redistribution. He'd be proud of where we're heading, but he would understand that the battle is not won.
But you know what? You know what I think he'd be a lot more proud of too? And this probably gonna ruffle a couple of feathers out there.
Uh-oh.
He gonna be proud of all of the interracial couples. Because
I mean, he would be proud that people wouldn't have to deal with miscegenation laws and be killed for it before we even get to any progressive viewpoint. That just wasn't typically tolerated back then. That man grew up in the Jim Crow South.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, and the thing of it is that's Christina, ain't it?
Yep.
Yeah, the thing of it is I honestly think he'll be proud of the interracial couples because, before Coretta, Martin wanted to date a white woman, and the fact that he couldn't in the South. I'm serious, and the fact that he couldn't in the South, I used to joke with people like, that's how the whole civil rights movement started, because he wanted to be able to walk down the street holding hands with his Caucasian girlfriend and it not be a big issue about it. So if that's what it took. Huh?
That wasn't never going to happen in his lifetime, but since he's passed, we've seen black presidents and black quarterbacks.
Yeah, I mean, so I think
black astronauts.
He started the movement and got it, but I'm just looking at today and the fact of in today's society. I was doing some reading and I spoke on it yesterday when we did our MLK Day show. His family actually got a settlement after that. And we was looking at the article yesterday. His family got a little settlement, but it was so minuscule, bro. Like, it was so minuscule. They gave the dude who owned the restaurant across the street from the Lorraine Hotel, they gave him $100,000 to be a part of the conspiracy to kill Dr. King. But his family in the settlement only got $100. Even though back then in the 60s, $100 probably was a good amount of money. They donated it because
not enough for a death.
It's not enough. No, it's not enough. You killed my prominent father. Like, that to me.
I mean, we got to keep in mind that he was a radical who had a lot of powerful enemies. And I would argue that people say you should judge a person by who their friends are. I would say a good person is capable of having many friends, some that may not always fall on the right sides of the law. But judge a man by his enemies, and he had a wonderful enemies list.
Yeah, and
Hoover,
see, the thing...
Thurman, Wallace, Nixon, he pissed off a whole bunch of people that I'd be very happy to see pissed off back then. And if he existed now, he would be pissing off Trump, McConnell, Cotton, and Ryan and Limbaugh.
Now,
same people 60 years later. Okay,
and now, what's your? I'm gonna let you walk with this one before we part ways. I'm gonna let you go ahead and walk and give me your intake on how you feel about tomorrow.
How I feel about tomorrow? Well, at this point, we know we have under 17 hours before the Trump administration is over. I would almost prefer that we turn the page now and start looking at the future. Because while the Trump administration will be over in less than 17 hours, we will still have a whole lot of his mess to clean up and a whole lot of cracks in the system that were there before he arrived. So we're reaching a point in our democracy where we either fix the cracks or we can kiss the game goodbye. At this point, we've seen how weak our political structures are and how they can be influenced. And either we take the civic responsibility to be an educated populace and to push this country in a direction where it can continue to exist, and maybe we blossom into a social democracy over the next 20 years. Or we could continue this reactionary slide, because normally countries don't marry fascism the first time. They got to date it once or twice. I don't want to deal with President Cotton in 4 years because we didn't push Joe Biden and Kamala Harris hard enough. Right. Get out in the streets. Do not forget that the Democrats are not your friends. They're your employees. We need them to get out here and put the freaking work in and not just glad hand their donors over the next 2 years.
Well,
or Americans will forget what the Republicans just did and have been doing for the next 4 years. They forgot about it during Bush. They forgot about it during Reagan. Don't count on them to have a long memory now.
I think I think the way the envelope pushing now, we gonna get some change in. But you know, I gotta
only if we fight for it.
As you know, it's always as usual.
King was always out in the streets, man. And people will never forgive me if they see this and I don't mention it. Don't ever forget that King was a Morehouse man.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Don't ever forget that. He was a man who sought an active justice rather than a passive order.
You actually wore a Morehouse shirt, bro.
Going forward.
You wore a Morehouse shirt.
Radical footsteps.
You actually wore a Morehouse shirt.
Yeah, this is the only one I even have in this country, and it is the wonderful apology shirt. Everyone who went to school back in the day will recognize this shirt and wish they still had theirs if they don't.
Guess what?
Y'all lost y'all shirts.
You wore a Morehouse shirt on my show, knowing good and god doggone well how we felt about
one of the great Morehouse men of all time. I should show proper respect, should I not?
Man, I mean, it was cool to show respect for him, but you already know how we felt about Morehouse men in Atlanta.
Hey man, all I'm saying is a lot of us are arrogant in our youth, but very, very useful down the road.
See,
Y'all better let them men be, so that they can grow up and try to change the world. We have to hand our next generation
I
any
will.
opportunity
I will
to
say
change it.
we gave Morehouse. We always gave Morehouse men a good hand. We always gave the Morehouse men a helping hand.
And we just gave him a fifth Democratic senator. You can thank dear old Morehouse for that whenever you're ready.
You know what?
We'll be there.
I'm kicking you off the air on that note because you already know how we felt about one.
First of all, you know how I felt in private moments. But hey, I gotta give credit when credit's due. My institution isn't always a hall of power. It's sometimes
No,
a
but you know we
place
used
to
to.
shape great young black minds like Raphael Warnock and Dr. King.
You know we used
Shout
to
out to
say that
Samuel
about.
L. What's up?
We used to always say it's two co-ed colleges and two all-girl colleges on the AUC when it came to Morehouse. When it came to Morehouse.
Tell Dr. King and Spike Lee and Samuel L. all of that while y'all are still searching for your first famous person at the surrounding colleges.
You know what? You know what? No, on a serious note, it's always a pleasure when I get my bro to get up early as hell in the morning before he
Hey, I'm happy for you to have me, man. I appreciate the invite.
all the time. And I need everybody to start going on Twitch, checking out the Revolutionary Underground podcast because he does his thing while he's playing a video game. That's a lot of talent. Like he, so
It's complicated. It takes a lot of prep. We're finishing up our Last of Us 2 series. You know I got to get my plug in.
go
We're
ahead.
finishing up our Last of Us 2 series,
Right,
where we are comparing COVID where we're using Last of Us 2's cordyceps infection as an allegory for COVID and the breakdown in their society for an allegory for a possible future world that we would like to try to avoid.
right on.
So we'll be there, and the next episode has a tagline that's gonna keep coming up. The Trump administration is over, but the fight is just beginning.
Right on. Right on. Right on. And as usual, it's always a pleasure when you get up in the morning and Skype in and we could chop it up and, have some little fun before a live audience, and not just in the inbox how we normally do.
Hey man, anytime. Hopefully we're not going to get news as rapid fire because this next administration isn't going to be generating nonsense every day. But we still going to keep them accountable.
Exactly.
And I'll be here anytime you need me, brother.
You already know it. Appreciate you, bro.
All right, my brother.
Peace. And that was my bro, BG. It's always a pleasure when I get my bro on here. We always kicking it in the inbox, talking about everything. But I saw a comment in my comments, and it was talking about basically what I wanted to talk to y'all about today, like the great divide that's going on. And I've been saying this for weeks. I've been saying it way before the election, way before all of this started taking place. Why is it that we as a country, we as people, need an entity to come in and do what we should do for ourselves? It's been a lot of good points made. It's been a lot of crazy points that this president made. But the one thing that he did, at least for me, if y'all not paying attention, he brought to the forefront just how divided this country really is. So you mean to tell me one man control half of the country? No. That's a conscious decision that them people made on their very own to do what they did at the Capitol. I could sit here, like I've been saying, I could sit here in front of this nice background. We got the car tequila in the background of me. I could sit here and tell y'all, everybody tonight, go out and have some shots. And if you're a non-drinker and you choose to go out and have shots knowing you don't drink and you end up getting alcohol poisoning, you can't blame the Jackson Report. All I said was a suggestion. The operative word, suggestion. And me being the person I am, I done just got fine tired of seeing it. Fine tired of seeing, oh, Trump this, Trump that, Trump this, Trump did this, them people did that because of Trump. Them people did that because that is what's in their soul. It didn't take one man to make this person. It's not like he's just a magician and he just turned all these people that way. No. All he did was make them feel comfortable like, yeah, this is what I've been right on. About time somebody saying the shit that I've been feeling all these years. So I wouldn't be who I am if I didn't play devil's advocate and say, God, dog, we hating it. Like, we hating this man. Like, if I was him, I would feel like my life was in jeopardy. And I'm one person. Yet we'll all sit back and be like, oh, yeah, I don't get nobody power over me. But yet this man has taken power over the whole country because that is all we speak on. Trump this, Trump that. Oh, that man did this. The Capitol, they finna nail his ass to the cross over something that some ignorant-minded people chose to do at the Capitol. Why? That man is that powerful where if he said this, okay, yeah, that's true. It didn't take years. It's not years of propaganda. When you acting like this, that's something that's innately already in you. It's not like, oh my God, I've been looking at the news. I've been looking at the news. I've been looking at the news. As black folks, we see hood movies the majority of our lives. But it's all black folks out here trying to be Arnold Schwarzenegger or old dog off Minister Society. No. And to the person that's in the comments, why not call in to the show?
That's BG.
That's BG. Oh yeah, you already called in to the show, BG. You Skyped in. We don't need. Good looking, Chuck OG. I thought that was still Christina because she was making some good points in the comments. But my thing is, when do we as a people stop being so brainwashed by what we see on TV or what we hear one person say? When they say people have cult followings, that's crazy to me because a lot of people I know support a lot of the stuff that I do. So if I came on this show and start saying, everybody, let's get armed up, we gonna start doing this and that, are they gonna say I'm inciting a riot? No, because I'm one person. I can't make the whole country do something they don't want to do. So is this man making them do this, or is this something they already wanted to do? I know Danny Laredo probably is racist as hell. And the thing of it is you be trying to get me to go to Laredo. Damn it. just messing around with you, bro. But it's crazy because somebody had made a point. One of the guys, the older guy I talk to all the time, he said, it's crazy because the Hispanic Americans that come over here from Mexico, they get over here and they be just as racist towards us. And it's crazy. It's crazy. Because at the end of the day, it's just like when I had my experience. And it happened at UT. And I had a racist experience. And I kind of let the lady get me out of character. And I leaned down and I politely told her, you know what? Trump ain't never tried to build a wall around Africa. And after the fact, I felt bad, like I shouldn't even stoop to her level. But on the same note, part of me was just like, wake up. Wake up. Stop falling into this brainwashed mentality of thinking. Exactly. Danny, I've been saying that too. I said, you know what? We always focus on racism in America. A lot of the most racist remarks and comments towards me I've ever gotten came from somebody that looked just like me. I never been called the N-word by more than, at least I could say it's happened in my lifetime. Maybe I can count on one finger the time that it was actually a white person that said the N-word to me. But it'll take my fingers, my toes, and a couple of other things in this room to say how many times my own kind has said that to me, even after telling them I don't like that word. So I'm saying this to make the point of, like I've been saying it, and I think maybe now today is more of a need for us to understand. All of this stuff, this inequality, this great divide that's going on in this country, was an indoctrinated way of thinking and an indoctrinated ideology to keep us bickering and arguing and going at it amongst ourselves, while the real wealth of the country is robbing us blind. And we too busy arguing over who a Democrat, who a Republican, who black, who white, who Hispanic, who not, who got it and who don't. And really none of us fucking got it. Unless you walking in 3 or 4 or 5 buildings that you own and you got tens of thousands of employees all over the country, you don't got it like they got it. I done told plenty of people this. Well, best believe when somebody uppity be like, all you ends with the hard R, get down. And if you rode in that mug with me, meaning we was all in the same car, meaning you hang around me, guess what? He wasn't just talking to me. He was not just talking to me. He was talking to all of us. Because at the end of the day, the real wealth of this country, look at us all like we the N-word. And that's what's crazy. Nobody want to talk about that. Nobody really wants to address the real issue. It's not about race. It's not about the age thing. It's not about demographics. It is about wealth, who has it, and who doesn't. The whole thing of it is even when yesterday we was talking about reparations on my producer show. The thing with that is, and I said my viewpoint, and we got into one of the biggest arguments that we've ever had. And it enlightened me, and it actually made me proud that I do business with who I do business with. Because it shocked me that my producer was pro-reparations. And he made me understand it from a standpoint of like, if a corporation's wealth can be tied back to the slave trade, that corporation owes African Americans reparations because they garnered their wealth off the backs of our ancestors who were slaves. That made sense to me. But the fact that today we look and it's always white, black, oh, the Asians, the Hispanics, look at this, look at that. You see somebody, if you see a lesbian couple or you see a gay couple, it's always judgment placed. Why? My question is why? Why? The censorship thing. You can't say this, you can't say that because these people might feel this way or them people might feel that way or this person might feel like this. Society has become so sensitive because we've fallen into this brainwashing mode that the media has instilled in us that if you look this way, you're supposed to be like this. If you're a black man, oh, you're disenfranchised, so this is how you're supposed to be. Oh, wait a minute. Let's paint the image of them like they're just thugs and gangsters. And even with the music now, the only way to be successful and top the charts is if you glorifying everything that's wrong in the hood as opposed to uplifting the neighborhood. And yet, we blame and tie all of this stuff that's been going on for decades and centuries before this man took office. Now, all of a sudden, he's the scapegoat. He's the patsy. Oh, all of these Trump supporters are racist. No, they've been racist. Just so happened a president came along that they racist as like. And apparently, my show must really be doing something. I must really touch people's lives. I must really be touching people's souls because I got my first death threat, which was cool, Chuck. No, I did. I didn't even care.
Do I know about this?
I think yesterday when we was talking about it, when the dude was like, yeah, bring your ass on over to the Capitol on the 20th. And I'm like, to an armed protest? And then when I looked at the guy's page, it was Confederate flags and swastikas all in his pictures. And I'm like, dang, he really threatened my life. Well, right on. I'm doing it. Like, we doing numbers, Chuck. The Jackson Report, we touching people's lives. We ruffling feathers around the country because keep in mind, y'all, I say these things, and Austin may be a liberal city, but it's almost like a blue flag in a blood neighborhood. It's almost like Austin is the one Crip living in a whole community of Bloods because Austin is a liberal city, but Texas is a Republican state. So the dynamic of Austin, I always speak on this, the dynamic of Austin is amazing to me. Because Adler is a little more liberal and Abbott is so conservative that it's almost like if Adler say one thing, Abbott is like, oh, hell no, we not doing that. And then as soon as Abbott turn his back, Adler like, man, fuck that, we doing it this way. So it makes Austin kind of a fun place to be in because of the dynamic. But yeah, it amazed me. And everybody been telling me be careful and this and that because I've been getting all these random friend requests and all of that kind of stuff from different people, and they all be from Texas. And they always have like a limited amount of friends and all of that. So my thing is, if my little bitty self, I'm all of, well, I only wear a $105 wet with an army helmet and boots on. If my little bitty self is rattling y'all cages like that, then so be it. Because if God so saith, I do it without thought. When I wake up in the morning and I know I'm filming my show, I sit back, I read a couple of articles, but I'm not trying to be Mr. Political or Mr. Media Newsman. I'm not trying to follow the lines of NBC or MSNBC or Fox News and all of that stuff. I'm not trying to pump y'all head and push a narrative or push your agenda on y'all. I'm telling y'all how I see it, being a regular person, considered probably below the median in America, which we probably all are, but yet we bicker and raise our noses up at each other over what? Over what? Because this person ain't the same color as me. Or we had the youth nowadays like, oh, y'all old motherfuckers don't know nothing. When the truth of the matter is, we been y'all age before. Y'all ain't been ours yet. So when I said today I was going to talk about the Great Divide, it's more than just a color divide. It's a color divide. It's an age divide. Oh, and dare I speak on the elephant in the room. It's starting to be a gender divide. Because nowadays you got the feminist movement, the hashtag Me Too movement. Then you got a lot of the women saying, oh, men is this and all men is that. You got a lot of the men saying, well, F these women this, F these women that. Hell, somebody said I was a woman basher because I chose to be selective in how I date nowadays. Somebody said I'm a woman basher. No woman's going to ever be right in my eyes because I choose to want a woman who's ambitious as I am. I choose to want a woman who's going to come to the table like I'm going to come to the table because I dealt with a situation where I came to the table throwing all my cards on the table and found out I'm playing cards and the woman was playing dominoes. So I came to the table thinking it was a checker game and she was playing chess. So after that situation, on top of a lot of other situations, on top of the position I'm putting myself in, I choose to be selective. It doesn't make me a woman basher. No, I love all women. I appreciate women. Hell, it took a woman for me to get here. But I say, to me, no one side is better than the other one. Of course, women have been given the short end of the stick when it comes to being in the same field as a male. Some women feel like they don't get paid as much as the men do for doing the exact same job, and a lot of times a woman will do it better. I empathize with y'all on that, ladies. That's fucked up. That sucks. It's something, but all us men wasn't in control of that. It's not like we did it. Exactly. Who said that? Who was that?
That's
that
BG.
BG. That's right. It's not misogyny. It's just not being an idiot. Oh, because sometimes I've been an idiot. Like, yeah, sometimes I've been, when it comes to dating, sometimes I've been an idiot. I mean, the nice guy in me has been an idiot because I'm so non-judgmental. I be trying to give everybody a chance. And I just got tired of, of the whole fixer-upper thing. Like, nah, give me the caddy and let it already be fully loaded. Let me just get in and relax and be able to drive it. Don't give me the caddy that you restoring. Don't give me the caddy. I got to buy new seats, so I got to put seat covers on it until the new seats come in, and now I got to keep getting the back tire patched up because it's a slow leak. Don't give me that caddy. Give me the caddy that's fully loaded, the sunroof with the automatic retracting seats that adjust to you, the way you drive when you get in the car. Let me get that one for a change. That's all I'm saying. Like, and I wonder if my sis Rue watching this. If my sis watching this, I wish I knew she was watching this because I would show love for her to call in. Because me and her, the day we finally talk on air, I think that's going to be a very interesting conversation, Chuck. Because after I get off air from doing episodes like this, when I go into talking about either the females or I go into talking about something with a divide, or I talk about, like me, I've never talked about me personally dating. I never talked about my personal dating life because I felt like some things is best left off social media. But I guess I can, today, since I'm talking about the great divide and I'm talking about how everything has been, we can go in. I'm not dating nobody, so it don't matter about my dating life. My dating life is null and void because I'm not dating nobody right now. But the truth of the matter is, like, honestly, for anybody watching this mug, if they want to know, since everybody curious, like, and it's dawning on me, Chuck, that like we starting to be known around Austin. Like, I was on 6th Street, and I was on 6th Street, and people was running up like, "Hey, I know you," and I know y'all see the Cash App scrolling across the screen down at the bottom of the screen. I need y'all to chime in on my Cash App because if y'all chime in, donate $1, $2, $5, $10, whatever your heart feel, donate it because I'm donating it all to Chuck. See, we can't just call Chuck no more. We got to call Chuck OG because the other day apparently headed to the studio. Chuck rolled his car, got out, looked at it, called Gary and said, "Yeah, it's total. Come pick me up." That is gangster shit to me. He walked away from a rollover in one piece, wasn't hurt. So if y'all seeing the Cash App on the bottom of the screen, support the show. Let me know how y'all feel, because if I don't know how y'all feel, then hell, my show might get taken off the damn air because Gary's a stickler to me building my fan base. And I'm telling him I got a pretty decent fan base, but we don't know if my fan base is what it is. And to leave y'all with something, I really need for y'all to understand this. Before I get off the air today, I need y'all to understand this. We live in a country that's supposed to be a melting pot. It's supposed to be a pluribus unum. Out of many shall come one. It's only one race we run. It's only one race, period. It's not black, it's not white, it's not Asian, it's not Hispanic, it's the human race. So if we all under one race, let's run one race. Let's stop with this person look like that, so I don't know if I like them. I can't trust them because they white and they crooked. Oh, I don't like them because he's black. He's got to be a thug. Oh, he's a Hispanic. He's going to stab me. Oh, look at those Chinese people. They think they're smarter than everybody. Let's stop with all of that. Because I have friends and family from all walks of life. I have friends in the LGBTQ community. I have friends in the white community, friends in the Asian community, friends in the Hispanic community. Of course, I got black friends. Let's stop with all of the color distinction, if you a certain color. Like, I really need to address this today before I get off this air. I don't even know how long my show's going over. I don't even know if it's been over the hour that I choose to record it.
1 hour, 5 minutes.
I'm finna wrap this up with this. If you're a white person in America, embrace that. If you're a black man in America, embrace that. If you're Asian, embrace that. If you're Hispanic, embrace that. Let's stop with looking one way but trying to portray yourself as another, thinking that makes you fit in or that makes you a better person than you already are. God made you the natural person that he wanted you to be. Be that. So I'm going to end my show today with saying this. If we all live in America, let's stop being black people, white people, Asian people, Hispanic people. Let's just be goddamn Americans. Thank y'all for tuning in. It's been another episode of the Jackson Report. Good night, y'all.